Let's have a look now onto the term ERP, or Enterprise Resource Planning. What does it mean in the context of enterprise information systems? An ERP system actually is some software, some piece of software, and usually it is very complex. It is an integrated system. So integrated means from different parts of the system, one whole system is put together, is integrated to one application system. It's software basically, and what is important if you acquire such an ERP system is that, of course, it needs to be adapted to your enterprise needs, to your business model, to your requirements regarding the processes, the process execution, to your requirements regarding your data storage needs, and so on. Adapted to your business enterprise needs. And if you try to describe such an ERP system, then you concentrate on the computer-based part of the information system. So ERP has only partially to do with the non-computer-based part. Partially means that you might have paper-based forms in your information system. You might use paper-based forms in your company. And this then is the non-computer-based part of the information system, but you could try to establish an interface between the non-computer-based and the computer-based part, meaning that you have forms in your ERP system which somehow correspond to the paper-based forms, so that you can record the information from paper to the electronic version of your form. And then it's in your computer-based part of the information system, and you finally have it in your ERP system, so to say. If we expand the abbreviation ERP, then, as I said before, it's the Enterprise Resource Planning. So it's not a software which is appropriate for personal use, for private use. It's for enterprise use. That's what enterprise in this abbreviation means. And in an enterprise, you have resources. You have a couple of resources like, for example, machines. You have, for example, human resources, people working in your company. You might have material resources and so on. And for all these resources, you can do some planning. You can plan when do the employees work, for example, or you can plan when to use the material for producing a certain product, or you can plan when to hire new people. Whatever, anything which is important regarding resources planning can be mapped to your ERP system. Such an ERP system usually focuses also on the process execution aspect within your company, within your enterprise. That means that you have certain activities which have to be done in a certain order. Then you call it the business process. Maybe also different people participate in this business process. Maybe also different parts of your organization, different departments. And then this should be also mappable to your ERP, such that your ERP can electronically support your business processes. If this is not the case, if the ERP cannot support your business process, then there might be different cases. Either you did not choose your ERP system well enough, so you did not choose the right ERP system, or you still have to adapt your ERP system, to customize your ERP system, Or maybe you have such a specialized business that you only map a part of the business processes to your ERP system. In any way, you would then have not full support of your business process with your ERP, and therewith you would not gain the full advantage of such an ERP system. As mentioned before, for the enterprise information system, such an ERP system also consists of several components, of several modules. So mostly you are able to buy a core component, and then you might use additional components, additional modules to add functionality which suits your business needs. And therefore it's modular, such that different companies can choose different modules, and some modules do not depend on each other. Some other modules depend on each other, of course, but you do not have to buy all modules to run your ERP system. Again, there's this term integrated. Integrated, meaning, as I said, that you create one whole system out of different parts, out of different subsystems. So you would then finally have one piece of enterprise software which fits to your needs. And integrated also means that you have a central database, or a kind of central source or concept for saving the data in a central way, so that you don't have to rely on many different databases, on many different systems to get an overview of your enterprise state. And such a system, as you might see from the description, is extremely complex. It's complicated to work with the system. It's expensive also. So if you try to acquire an SAP system, for example, or an ERP system from Oracle, then mostly you have hundreds of thousands of euros or dollar to invest. And that means that you actually have to do the decision very carefully. You cannot quickly exchange such a system if you bought it once. And that you also invest into the people working with the ERP system, such that they can get the full advantage of the functionalities, such that they can also use the functionalities to make the company in an overall view more effective, more efficient. Again, a quick discussion regarding this term integrated. Integrated because sometimes it's hard to understand this context of enterprise software. Integrated here is basically a database which is in the center of the system. Must not be one database, might be several databases also, which are somehow working together. And from this database, you connect to your production system, for example, and you get out the purchase orders, and you process these purchase orders in your production. And therewith you have the module, which is important for your production, as you see here, this rectangle, and therein all functionality for the production of your products are contained. And then this production might rely on material. You use material, of course, to produce a certain product. Then the material handling is required as a connected module to the production. Maybe also the warehouse management is also part of the material handling. And if you talk about materials, then you have to purchase these materials as well. And if you purchase, then you spend money. Spending money then is finally important for your financial accounting. And that's why the material handling as well might be connected to your financial accounting module. And all three mentioned modules, the production module, the financial accounting module, and the material handling module, might be connected to this central database to rely on one set of data, not different parts, which somehow have to be aggregated together. So one database, one central data concept is mostly used in such integrated scenarios. Of course, you might have other modules connected to that database, an info system, for example, which supports getting the information about certain records in the database, or technology or human resources focusing on other aspects of your enterprise. And you can see two different kinds of arrows here. Black arrows, meaning that they synchronize the module data with the central database. And also blue arrows, which means that there is exchange going on between the modules, because as mentioned before, the production module might require material handling information, and vice versa. The material handling relies on production data. If something is produced, if a product is made, then it might be stored in the warehouse. And then it's also a kind of material handling going on, some processes for storing in the warehouse. And this is then part of the material handling of the warehouse module. So blue arrows for the module communication, and the black arrows here for the communication to the central database.